Clutch player of the year is LeBron.
The Lakers and Knicks, to me, over the course of the year, it's not like one team's been drastically better than the other, and they're both the 3 seeds. I understand it's different conferences, but LeBron's clutch numbers and fourth quarter numbers say he deserves the award.
James inside. Maxi Kleber off the bench is 3-0. Offensive rebound, LeBron. Throwing a shot. Offensive rebound, Hachimura. Here comes. Watch the three here. Step back by LeBron James against Gobert.
Clutch numbers are going to probably make Jalen Brunson win this award. That is in part because they do not have clutch numbers for defense in the clutch, where Jalen was lacking, obviously.
Clutch player. The award went to him. A chance for the lead here for the first time tonight. You can get a quick one right here. Brunson will make a move. The jitterbug to the rack, and he got it to go. 81% against Detroit.
Clutch player of the year is LeBron.
How Jalen Brunson just embarrassed Nick Wright with just literally one brutal stat. Well, get into it. The narrative has been pushed time and time again that LeBron James is the clutch player of the year. It's been drilled into our heads. But here's the thing. When you really dig into the numbers, the eye test, and the performances in the clutch, there's a brutal truth that no one's talking about. The truth is that Jalen Brunson just flat out embarrassed Nick Wright with one brutal stat that completely flips the narrative on its head. LeBron? Sure, he's got the accolades, the reputation, and all the shiny PR. But when you look at who's actually showing up in the clutch moments, it's clear that LeBron is not the clutch king this year. And what do we get in return? Nick Wright, yet again, pushing a narrative that doesn't line up with the reality of the situation. You see, Wright's been all about LeBron, constantly pushing him for accolades, including clutch player of the year, while overlooking the truth that Brunson has been the one delivering in crunch time situations, making clutch plays that have single-handedly won games and series. LeBron might be a legend in the game, but when the pressure's on, it's Brunson who's stepped up in a way that LeBron just hasn't this postseason. Clutch time in the NBA, for those not familiar, is typically the final 5 minutes of a game, with a margin of 5 points or less. Now, there's no denying that LeBron is one of the greatest players of all time, but when it comes to clutch performances this season, the stats simply don't support him being the runaway winner for this title. So what's going on here? Well, it's not that LeBron hasn't had his moments, but when it comes to performing under pressure, the stats tell a different story. And while we're talking about stats, let's talk about what really matters when it comes to the most clutch players in the game today. It's not just about the first 3 quarters of the game. It's about who shows up when the game is on the line, who wants the ball with the game tied, or when your team is down by a couple of points in those final minutes. It's about that one player who can make or break a game in the final seconds. For the past few seasons, LeBron James has been given the benefit of the doubt on this front. But here comes Jalen Brunson, who has absolutely been putting on a show in clutch situations. In fact, let's take a look at the kind of numbers Brunson has been putting up. Let's start with the regular season. In clutch time scoring, Brunson is averaging an impressive 5.6 points per game, double the output of LeBron James. Yeah, you heard that right. He's putting up more than double the points in clutch situations than the guy everyone calls the best in the game. And we're not talking about a few isolated games here. We're talking about consistent, high-level performances across the entire season. In clutch moments, both players are shooting above 50% from the field, which is already impressive. But what about creating for others? Brunson ranks second in clutch time assists, showing that he's not just scoring, but actively making his teammates better when the game is tight. So far, so good for Brunson. But let's take a step further and look at the postseason where legends are made. And guess what? Brunson's numbers only get better. In these high-stakes games, where every possession counts and one mistake can cost you the series, Brunson has been an absolute machine. His clutch time scoring in the playoffs? #1 in the league. He's been the most efficient, deadly player when it matters most, outpacing even LeBron. When you look at shooting percentages, LeBron's been good, but Brunson's been better. He's shooting a higher percentage from the field and from beyond the arc. And let's talk about plus-minus. This is where things get really telling. Brunson's plus-minus is a massive plus 4.4 in the clutch, while LeBron sits at minus 4.4. Yep, that's right. While LeBron's team has been getting outplayed in clutch moments, Brunson's squad has been thriving. If we're talking stats, it's really not even close between these two in terms of clutch performance. So why is Nick right out here still pushing the narrative that LeBron is the best clutch player in the NBA? Let's be real. It's about pushing a narrative. It's about what fits into the media machine, not about what's actually happening on the court. When you look at the way the media loves to elevate certain players and ignore others, it's clear that stats often get manipulated to serve a bigger agenda. And that's exactly what we're seeing here, with LeBron being pushed for Clutch Player of the Year over someone like Brunson, who has been light years more effective in the clutch this season. Take a quick look at the media's favorite talking head, Nick Wright. He loves to cherry-pick stats, maneuver the numbers to fit his narrative. But the reality is, when you stack LeBron's clutch stats against Brunson's, it's not even close. Yet here we are, being told that LeBron's the one who deserves the title. It's time to call out the hypocrisy. And let's not forget the playoff performances. In the postseason, the importance of clutch play cannot be overstated. This is where legends are made. And while LeBron has his reputation and accolades, it's Jalen Brunson who has stepped up and delivered when his team needed him the most. Take the Boston series, for example. Brunson was the driving force behind the Knicks' comebacks, making key shots and creating opportunities for his teammates. He consistently rose to the occasion when the game was on the line. On the flip side, what happened when LeBron was faced with the same pressure? His clutch time performance hasn't been nearly as impactful. LeBron's struggles in these high-pressure moments were starkly evident as the Lakers' playoff hopes started to fade due to missed opportunities in crunch time. And don't get me started on Jason Tatum. Tatum, like LeBron, has struggled to show up in clutch moments. Brunson, on the other hand, has been the definition of clutch, leading his team in these pivotal moments. When you contrast Brunson's ability to rise in the clutch to Tatum's and LeBron's faltering under pressure, it's clear that Brunson has a skill that wins playoff series. The ability to execute when the game is on the line. Let's talk fourth quarter dominance. Brunson's numbers in the fourth quarter are staggering, 10.8 points per game, ranking first across the entire postseason. But it's not just about scoring, it's about efficiency. Brunson's shooting splits in the fourth quarter is 50% from the field and 41% from three, and make him a deadly weapon when it matters the most. His plus-minus is plus 37, the seventh highest in the postseason. This is the type of production that swings games and series. While other teams have struggled to execute in the final moments, Brunson has been the guy to put his team over the top. Sure, the Knicks have a talented roster with players like Karl-Anthony Towns and OG Anunoby, but when it comes down to the wire, it's Brunson who has been the true game changer. Just take a look at the Knicks' fourth quarter statistics as a team. They rank second in points per game, third in field goal percentage, third in three-point percentage, and third in plus-minus. It's clear that their ability to close out games is what's giving them the edge in the playoffs. But why is that? It's all because of Jalen Brunson and his clutch time mastery. And here's the final takeaway. In the playoffs, it's all about clutch play. Sure, team defense, chemistry, and all those factors are important, but when the game is on the line, it's the clutch player who decides the outcome. And this season, that player is Jalen Brunson. He's the one who has shown up when his team needed him most, and he's the reason the Knicks are in the position they are today. Meanwhile, LeBron and Tatum have faltered under the pressure. So, next time Nick Wright or anyone else tries to push the narrative that LeBron is the best clutch player, just remember, the stats don't lie. Jalen Brunson is the real clutch player of the year, and that's the brutal truth. Well, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this deep dive into clutch performance and why Jalen Brunson is the guy you should be watching when the game's on the line. Until next time, peace out.